I want to address all the victims of the accident I caused and say how truly and deeply sorry I am.
A drunk woman who killed a bride on her wedding night stood in court asking for mercy. And when the judge finally spoke, the courtroom went silent.
The State Department of Corrections for a period of 25 years and $10,100 provided upon the service of 25 years.
Jamie Komorowski, the woman who drove drunk and killed a bride on her wedding night, wants the judge to reduce her sentence days after she learns her punishment.
Let's go back to April 28th, 2023, the night one family's world split in two.
On April 28, 2023, when she got behind the wheel of her car and hit a golf cart carrying newlyweds Sam Miller and Eric Hutchinson, along with members of their wedding party.
Samantha was a bride. Hours earlier, she had stood at the altar in Folly Beach and promised forever to Eric Hutchinson, the man she loved.
The crash happened on Folly Beach in South Carolina. Sam was thrown from the golf cart and killed, and Eric and his family members, Brogan Garrett and Benjamin Garrett, were seriously hurt.
The photos showed joy, dancing, and a future just beginning. But before that night ended, one drunk driver was about to destroy it all.
They were having the time of their lives. They were so happy.
Before they left the reception, Samantha pulled Eric close and told him she did not want the night to end. He kissed her on the forehead. Seconds later, everything was taken from both of them.
I've been thinking about what to say ever since that night. What do you say when your world's shattered?
Samantha and Eric had left the wedding reception in a street-legal golf cart alongside members of their wedding party. No reckless speed. No reason for alarm.
My world will be ever changed what happened that night. I think about that night every single day. In the last moments I had with Sam on the golf cart. She told me she didn't want the night to end. And I kissed her on the forehead. And then the next thing I remember is waking up in the hospital.
Just a bride and groom heading home from their own celebration, waving goodbye to the people who loved them most. Eric's mother watched them go. She said they were happier than she had ever seen either of them.
Not only was she my daughter, Sam and I had, excuse me.
That's okay, take your time.
Sam and I had a relationship probably better than most people that love each other. I'm very close with my other two kids. Our family has always been close. But Sam and I had a bond that was very different and very amazing, and we both had each other's backs all the time.
That wave was the last moment of their marriage at 0.261% blood alcohol, more than 3 times the legal limit. Jamie Komorowski was behind the wheel of a car, moving at 65 miles per hour through a zone marked 25. This was not a single lapse in judgment lasting 1 careless second.
Samantha was thrown from the golf cart and killed as Komorowski plowed into them, driving 65 miles per hour in a 25 mile per hour zone. Jamie Komorowski pleaded guilty earlier this month instead of going to trial.
Every drink she had taken that night, every decision she had made before getting behind that wheel, every mile she had driven at that speed, all of it was a chain she had built herself, link by link, aimed directly at that golf cart.
I take full responsibility for the tragic outcome that my decisions have made. I will carry this guilt with me for the rest of my life.
She slammed into the back of it with a force one witness described as something close to a bomb going off.
We brought cupcakes and we went down to the beach at sunrise, our favorite time, and we did silly dances on the beach with cupcakes and champagne. That's what an amazing relationship is.
Samantha was thrown from the cart. By the time emergency crews reached the scene, she was gone. Eric was rushed to the hospital with critical injuries. Benjamin Garrett and Brogan Garrett were hurt as well. The wedding party that had been celebrating and laughing not an hour before was now scattered across a crash scene on a dark South Carolina road.
I see my mom's face, still wearing the wedding dress from the night before, and I knew instantly. And so I asked where's Sam. I knew she wasn't there.
The next thing Eric remembered was waking up in a hospital bed. His mother was still wearing the dress she had worn to the wedding the night before. He did not need a single word spoken to him. He already knew Samantha was gone.
I wish more than anything you guys me instead of Sam.
He later stood in front of Judge Jefferson and told the court that he wished it had been him instead. So Samantha would not have had to die alone. A vibrant young woman had been stolen from the world by someone who chose to get behind a wheel drunk. And all her family wanted now was justice.
We've been sentenced to a lifetime of pain, as with half the world. As a mom, I can't even describe to you. I've lost my brother. I lost both my dads. This is so different. And it is scientifically proven that some kids' cells stay in your body. She died.
Samantha's mother stood before the judge and said what no courtroom could fully absorb. Jamie Komorowski might one day walk out of a prison. Samantha would never walk anywhere again. The family had received their own sentence on April 28, 2023. And unlike Jamie's, it came with no release date and no parole hearing. The last time her mother held her daughter was on a dance floor at that wedding reception, hours before the crash.
And she doesn't get a partial sentence. She doesn't get to come back to life in 10 years or 20 years. And we don't get to come back to life in 20, 25 years. This is a lifetime.
That dance floor became the last place Samantha was whole.
I will never get to hear her voice, see her smile, or share any moments we have planned for the future. The pain of losing her is unbearable, and every day feels like a struggle to move forward.
Her sister stood and described every future that had been permanently erased. Samantha would never become a mother. She would never grow old alongside Eric. She would never share the milestones her family had quietly imagined for her across decades of hopes. Every single one of those moments was gone. Eric's mother added that the final image she carried was Samantha and Eric waving from that golf cart, lit up with a happiness she had never quite witnessed in either of them before.
Sam was an aunt to my two daughters. My daughters, Amber and Maisie. Their Auntie Sammy. I can't see the words.
Jamie Komorowski had been expected to stand trial. Instead, she walked into court and entered a guilty plea. Reckless homicide. 2 counts of felony DUI causing great bodily injury. Felony DUI resulting in death. No guaranteed sentence came attached to that agreement. No safe number was waiting for her on the other side. She surrendered her future completely into the judge's hands and hoped for mercy.
If you aren't being responsible for your actions, you can and you will hurt people. I know I am going to be punished for these actions, and I agree that it is something that must be done.
When Jamie finally addressed the court, she said she was deeply and truly sorry, that she would carry the guilt for the rest of her life, that she wanted whatever punishment came to help others who were struggling with addiction the way she had been. She took full responsibility. She asked the family to believe her remorse was real, but an apology cannot return a woman to her husband. And the judge still had a decision that would define the rest of Jamie Komorowski's life.
I've listened very intently to everything that has been presented to the court, and I have taken into consideration the mitigation that has been presented. And based on what has been presented to the court, I find the following appropriate in the nature of sentencing. On the offense of reckless driving, reckless homicide.
Judge Jefferson had sat through every word. The SART impact statements, the defense arguments, Jamie's apology. She had heard a husband describe the moment he woke up and understood his wife was dead. 10 years for reckless homicide. 15 years for felony DUI causing great bodily injury. Then came the charge that everyone had been waiting for. Felony DUI resulting in death. 25 years in prison. Judge Jefferson did not raise her voice. She did not need to. The number delivered everything on its own.
Sam or Eric so happy. Their faces lit with smile the entire time. Even as they waved goodbye from the golf cart they were riding on to start their life together.
But the story did not end there. After the sentence landed, Jamie's attorneys came back to court and called it grossly disproportionate, unwarranted. They pointed to her lack of prior criminal history, her guilty plea, her remorse, her troubled background. They even suggested the national attention the case received may have made the punishment harsher than it should have been.
Refused to let me out of her sight. They would be constantly taking care of me while my mom was with my dad. I was faced with having to try and help my brother while we struggled with emotions that were not meant to be felt and processed by a 12-year-old.
The case became national news because the facts were impossible to look away from. A bride killed on her own wedding night. A drunk driver doing 65 in a 25. A husband waking up alone in a hospital room with no one left to call his wife.
Whenever I go 65 miles per hour on the freeway, I now think of how fast that really is. And that they were riding in a golf cart. It's terrifying to think of what they experienced as the defendant hit them going so fast. We know that it is nothing short of a miracle that these three men are still with us here today.
Funny how easy it is to ask for mercy after showing none. Judge Jefferson refused to move. The original 25 years held. The same judge who heard Jamie's apology had also heard Eric's pain, and she did not flinch. Jamie Komorowski may walk out of prison one day.
Instead of remembering that day for the joy of a wedding, we now associate it with grief, trauma, and loss. The few more days that I spent in Folly Beach were not pleasant. When I finally returned to the rental that we were staying at, there was a dull feel to everything.
Samantha Miller will never finish her wedding night. She will never start a family with Eric. She will never grow old with the man who kissed her forehead and promised her forever. Every year that passes will be a year she was never given. For Jamie, the sentence was 25 years. For Eric and everyone who loved Samantha, the sentence has no end date and no parole hearing. Do not let her story disappear into silence. stay aware, stay present, and make sure the people taken from us too soon are never forgotten.